walk with God in perfect holiness. I walk with God in perfect holiness. I light the world. I light my mind, and all the minds which God created one with me. I walk with God in perfect holiness. Who walks with me? Who walks with me? This question should be asked 1,000 times a day, till certainty is in doubting and established peace. I walk with God in perfect holiness. I light the world. I light my mind, and all the minds which God created one with me. I walk with God in perfect wholeness. I walk with God in perfect holiness. I walk with God in perfect holiness. Sometimes we have a little difficulty getting our head around the word holiness. Think of it as wholeness, sacred wholeness, that we're one with everything, that there's just one of us, one mind. I walk with God in perfect holiness. I light the world, I light my mind, and all the minds which God created one with me. That's our wholeness, our holiness. I walk with God in perfect holiness. Who walks with me? This question should be asked 1,000 times a day, till certainty has ended doubting and established peace. Well, thank you so much for joining me in studying A Course in Miracles. We're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles today. Well, we're reading from lesson 156 for Friday, June the 5th of 2026. And I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from my home place. Had a swarm of bees that are up above me now. They're up too high for me to reach. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I normally take the swarm and put it into a hive box, but they've got me kind of stumped because they're out of my reach. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I walk with God in perfect holiness. That I know for sure. And the bees are one with me too. Everything is one with God. I walk with God in perfect holiness. And this is, even though this is for Friday, June the 5th of 2026, this is the Tuesday preceding that Friday that I'm doing this recording. I walk with God in perfect holiness. Today's idea but states the simple truth that makes the thought of sin impossible. It promises there is no cause for guilt, and being causeless, it does not exist. It follows surely from the basic thought so often mentioned in the text, ideas leave not their source. If this is true, how can you be apart from God? How could you walk the world alone and separate from your source? We are not inconsistent in the thoughts that we present in our curriculum. Truth must be true throughout if it be true. It cannot contradict itself, nor be in parts uncertain and in others sure. You cannot walk the world apart from God, because you could not be without Him or apart from Him. He is what your life is. Where you are, He is. There is one life. That life you share with God. Nothing can be apart from Him and live. Life is God. Oneness, wholeness, sacred wholeness is what Course in Miracles calls holiness. Yet where He is, there must be holiness as well as life. No attribute of His remains unshared by everything that lives. What lives is holy as Himself, because what shares His life is part of holiness, and could no more be sinful than the sun could choose to be of ice, the sea elect to be apart from water, or the grass to grow with roots suspended in the air. There is a light in you which cannot die, whose presence is so holy that the world is sanctified because of you. All things that live bring gifts to you, and offer them in gratitude and gladness at your feet. The scent of flowers is their gift to you. The waves bow down before you, and the trees extend their arms to shield you from the heat, and lay their leaves before you on the ground, that you may walk in softness, while the wind sinks to a whisper round your holy head. The light in you is what the universe longs to behold. All living things are still before you, for they recognize who walks with you. The light you carry is their own, and thus they see in you their holiness, saluting you as Savior and as God. Accept their reverence, for it is due to holiness itself, which walks with you, transforming in its gentle light all things unto its likeness and its purity. Now that sacred wholeness of one is abiding in us, and we can access it and give it to the world. The scent of flowers is their gift to us. The sacred wholeness gives us gifts, and we're to give our gifts of peace and joy and love to everyone. The light in you is what the universe longs to behold. Oh, let's see, let's back up. No, that's good. Back the last sentence in that paragraph 4. The waves bow down before you, and the trees extend their arms to shield you from the heat, and lay their leaves before you on the ground, that you may walk in softness, while the wind sinks to a whisper round your holy head. Of course, that one reminds me of when Jesus was on the Sea of Galilee and a storm came up. He was sleeping, and the disciples in a panic woke him up and said, "Master, we're about to die. Help us. What do we do?" And Jesus says, "Oh, be at peace, wind." And the wind sank down to a whisper round his holy head, and the disciples too. So that's a good example of being able to work with nature, work with what's going on to bring peace to everyone. Paragraph 5. The light in you is what the universe longs to behold. All living things are still before you, for they recognize who walks with you. The light you carry is their own, and thus they see in you their holiness, saluting you as Savior and as God. Accept their reverence, for it is due to holiness itself, which walks with you, transforming in its gentle light all things unto its likeness and its purity. This is the way salvation works. As you step back, the light in you steps forward and encompasses the world. This is how salvation works. As you step back, the light in you steps forward and encompasses the world. It heralds not the end of sin and punishment and death. In lightness and in laughter is sin gone, because its quaint absurdity is seen. It is a foolish thought, a silly dream, not frightening, ridiculous perhaps, but who would waste an instant in approach to God Himself for such a senseless whim? Yet you have wasted many, many years on just this foolish thought. The past is gone with all its fantasies. They keep you bound no longer. The approach to God is near, and in the little interval of doubt that still remains, you may perhaps lose sight of your companion and mistake him for the senseless ancient dream that now is past. Who walks with me? This question should be asked 1,000 times a day, till certainty has ended doubting and established peace. Who walks with me? Today let doubting cease. God speaks for you in answering your question with these words: I walk with God in perfect holiness. I light the world, I light my mind, and all the minds which God created, one with me. That last paragraph 8, one more time. Who walks with me? This question should be asked 1,000 times a day, till certainty has ended doubting and established peace. Today let doubting cease. God speaks for you in answering your question with these words: I walk with God in perfect holiness. I light the world, I light my mind, and all the minds which God created, one with me. Wow, the oneness of God that we can connect with, and that we are connected with. Some of us have been doubting it and not aware of it, but let's end doubting by recognizing our sacred unity, our sacred oneness with all creation, even the bees at the top of this tree. I walk with God in perfect holiness. Okay, back in chapter 16, the forgiveness of illusion. We're in section 5, the choice for completion. We stopped off ready for paragraph 10. Let's read paragraph 9 again and finish this section. The appeal of hell lies only in the terrible attraction of guilt, which the ego holds out to those who place their faith in littleness. The conviction of littleness lies in every special relationship, for only the deprived could value specialness. The demand for specialness and the perception of the giving of specialness as an act of love would make love hateful. The real purpose of the special relationship, in strict accordance with the ego's goals, is to destroy reality and substitute illusion. For the ego is itself an illusion, and only illusions can be the witnesses to its reality. Paragraph 10. If you perceive the special relationship as a triumph over God, would you want it? Let us not think of its fearful nature, nor of the guilt it must entail, nor of the sadness and the loneliness, for these are only attributes of the whole religion of separation, and of the total context in which it is thought to occur, the religion of separation. Have we been part of that for a long time? Now we're joining the religion of oneness, of holiness, of sacred wholeness. For these are only attributes of the whole religion of separation and of the total context in which it is thought to occur. The central theme in this litany to sacrifice is that God must die so you can live. And it is this theme that is acted out in the special relationship. Through the death of yourself, you think you can attack another self and snatch it from the other to replace the self that you despise. And you despise it because you do not think it offers the specialness that you demand. And hating it, you have made it little and unworthy because you are afraid of it. 11. How can you grant unlimited power to what you think you have attacked? How can you grant unlimited power to what you think you have attacked? So fearful has the truth become to you that unless it is weak and little and unworthy of value, you would not dare to look upon it. You think it safer to endow the little self you made with power you wrested from the truth, triumphing over it and leaving it helpless. See how exactly is this ritual enacted in the special relationship? An altar is erected in between two separate people on which each seeks to kill himself, and on his body raise another self to take its power from his death. Over and over this ritual is enacted, and it is never completed, nor ever will be completed. The ritual of completion cannot complete, for life arises not from death, nor heaven from hell. 12. Whenever any form of special relationship tempts you to seek for love and ritual, remember love is content and not form of any kind. The special relationship is a ritual of form, aimed at raising the form to take the place of God at the expense of content. There is no meaning in the form, and there will never be. The special relationship must be recognized for what it is, a senseless ritual in which strength is extracted from the death of God and invested in his killer as the sign that form has triumphed over content and love has lost its meaning. Would you want this to be possible, even apart from the evident impossibility? If it were possible, you would have made yourself helpless. God is not angry. He merely could not let this happen. You cannot change his mind. No ritual that you have set up in which the dance of death delights you can bring death to the eternal, nor can your chosen substitute for the wholeness of God have any influence at all upon it. The wholeness of God, your sacred wholeness, your holiness, can't have any effect even if you think it is. Even if you think that there's some love that's required here and not love required there, a varying love, a specialness. We're to get beyond that and see our wholeness with love in everything and everyone. Paragraph 13. See in the special relationship nothing more than a meaningless attempt to raise other gods before him, and by worshiping them to obscure their tininess and his, God's, greatness. In the name of your completion, you do not want this. In the name of your completion, you do not want specialness. For every idol that you raise to place before God stands before you in place of what you are. 14. Salvation lies in the simple fact that illusions are not fearful because they are not true. They but seem to be fearful to the extent to which you fail to recognize them for what they are, and you will fail to do this to the extent to which you want them to be true. And to the same extent you are denying truth, and so are failing to make the simple choice between truth and illusion, God and fantasy. Remember this, and you will have no difficulty in perceiving the decision as just what it is, and nothing more. 15. The core of the separation illusion lies simply in the fantasy of destruction of love's meaning. And unless love's meaning is restored to you, you cannot know yourself, who share its meaning, your love being. Separation is only the decision not to know yourself. Separation is only the decision not to know yourself as a love being and one with all and God. This whole thought system is carefully contrived learning experience, designed to lead away from truth and into fantasy. Yet for every learning that would hurt you, God offers you correction and complete escape from all its consequences. 16. The decision whether or not to listen to this course and follow it is but the choice between truth and illusion. For here is truth, and separated from illusion, and not confused with it at all. How simply does this choice become when it is perceived as only what it is? For only fantasies make confusion in choosing possible, and they are totally unreal. And the last paragraph, 17. This year is thus the time to make the easiest decision that ever confronted you, and the only one. You will cross the bridge into reality simply because you will recognize that God is on the other side and nothing at all is here. It is impossible not to make the natural decision, as this is realized on this side of the bridge of separation, of wholeness, is nothing. On the other side of sacred wholeness or holiness is the only reality, which is God and everything in reality. Okay, I walk with God in perfect holiness. What a good reading to go with our lesson today. Okay, let's see. I didn't find any religious holidays today, but I did find it's Apple II Day. It is Festival of Popular Delusions Day, which is basically a day to reflect on social myths and their social effect. You know, I think that one of the myths is that a concept of, even though people hold the idea of democracy and voting to a high degree, I personally am feel that it'd be better if we did consensus agreements, keep everything the same unless we all agree. But everybody needs to agree, otherwise just keep things the way they are. And on a smaller group, that's much easier. Maybe we need to revert back to smaller, town meetings, town governments. Anyway, there's a whole lot there we could talk about. But one of the myths in my mind, that goes deep. Hug an Atheist Day. Hug everyone Day. They're all one with you, regardless of their belief. Donut Day. Gingerbread Day. The Zingaber Aficionado. Gun Violence Awareness Day. Moonshine Day. Veggie Burger Day. And World Environment Day. And World Day Against Speciesism. Veggie Burger Day and World Environment Day and World Day Against Speciesism. And then, if you're reading through the original edition with me, read chapter 17, Roman numeral 5, the second half of Perception and the Two Worlds. We read the first half yesterday, hopefully is what you did. If you're reading through the New Testament with me, read 2 Corinthians chapter 8 today. If you're reading through Iyengar Yoga, read page 192 and 193, which is the full boat pose. And out of A Course of Love, if you're reading through that, we're in Treatises 3, chapter 19, Physical Reality, and read the second half of that chapter, which is page 336 to the end. And out of the herb book, another herb I want to talk about is cayenne pepper, Capsicum frutescens. It's number 92 in the herb book, and it says in there its properties are it's an appetizer, small amount to be an appetizer. Maybe a little sprinkling of cayenne pepper on something that you're eating as an appetizer. Digestive, it's good for digestive. It's an irritant. You wouldn't think that'd be a property that could be we'd consider it a health benefit, but I didn't look into why they called an irritant. But I did see a cautionary note that if you take too much on your skin, or even internally, it can cause some problems. We'll talk about it in just a minute. A silagogue, which makes saliva, a stimulant, and a tonic. Use as a general stimulant at the beginning of a cold. Can help to ward it off. An infusion of cayenne for stomach and bowel pains and cramps. A small amount to stimulate the appetite. For external use, you can make a plaster to increase blood flow to a certain area of your body where you're having some trouble, like maybe for rheumatism, for arthritis, for pleuritis, and for pericarditis. Might be able to put it on a joint that's having some pain to get a lot of blood flowing to that area. Somebody that's having a rotator cuff problem the other day, or maybe a knee problem. Matter of fact, I should tell them that. It might be helpful. Prolonged application can cause blisters and dermatitis, so be careful not to use it too long. Might mix some oil in with it so that it's not directly on the skin. I haven't tried that I have done it before. I've got cuts before and put cayenne pepper powder on the cut because it tends to stop bleeding. I don't think it said that in here, but I've used it that way. Excessive consumption can cause gastroenteritis and kidney problems. So I've heard people say, use it for a week or two maybe and then go to something else and then come back to it. But don't just keep doing it every day. And then out of edible landscaping, we've got an apple called the Liberty apple. And he says in here it's one of the most disease-resistant apples ever developed. So that makes me want to use it. And you can a lot of times find this one at local supply stores. Shiny, deep red, lighter the further south Liberty is grown. Crisp apple that is scab immune and resistant to mildew, cedar apple rust, and fire blight. Late summer ripening, keeps well. One of the most disease-resistant apples ever developed. Has a Macintosh aroma with a crisp, juicy flavor essence. Very productive, so keep about 3 inches between each fruit. Self-fertile, space dwarf 10 foot, semi-dwarf 15 foot, and standard trees 20 foot. Zones 4 through 7. Okay, well there you go. And our word for peace, we're going to take it from the Damari people of... they're on the Damodar River of Jharkhand in West Bengal of India. And many have migrated to the Middle East. It's the same word we use in Latin. I wonder if there's a connection between Latin and Damari. But it's Paki. Paki be with you. I walk with God in perfect holiness. I light the world. I light my mind and all the minds which God created. One with me, I walk with God in perfect holiness. I walk with God in perfect holiness. From the Damari people, Pake. Paki be with you. I walk with God in perfect holiness. Paki.